Hey, it's Martin Griffiths, co-founder of Metis Automation, and helping manufacturers to visualize and control the products in their factory. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how to improve the visibility of your production processes. So I spent the first 10 years of my career as a production engineer and manufacturing manager in some automotive companies. And then since starting Metis Automation, we've helped over 100 projects manufacturers to improve their production processes. So I want to take some of the lessons that I've learned of those and kind of distill that in this video into some ways that you can improve the visibility in your production process. And the reason I think that's important, because companies that don't have good visibility they spend a long time collecting data. When they collect it, it's out of date, and they don't make as good decisions really, because they're not making decisions on what to do next or what to focus on the right information. So taking some small steps possibly to improve the visibility of your production process, I think can help your business, because it can help you focus on the right areas for improvement and for growth, and to focus your time better. So the first area that I think there's a quick win for improving the visibility is of your assets. So you'll have some big machines in your factory, maybe some CNC machines, maybe things like curing ovens, whatever, some big machines that that you've invested a lot in. If you can have some way of tracking the status and the availability of those machines kind of quickly and clearly, it can help you do a few things. It can help you plan better. If you know one of those machines is out of service for a period of time, it can help you to plan which way to route that product quickly. It can also help you to focus on where to put resources. So maintenance or engineering, if you've got kind of key assets that are performing slower or stopped, you know what to focus on. So how to do that? A simple way is just a traffic light system. So green means it's running at full capacity, amber means it's running but at lower efficiency, red means it's stopped for some reason or an unexpected downtime. How to update that can be simply, the most basic. The operator on the line is responsible for, filling in an Excel spreadsheet, setting the colour of an and-on light, traffic light over the machine so it's visible on the shop floor. Two more advanced ones like plugging into the PLC, it will have that information in there as to whether it's what capacity it's running at, just sharing that information with an online dashboard, or attaching some kind of low-cost cheap sensors to it just to measure how well it's performing, so that your manufacturing manager in the office or or overseas can see that information straight away, and he can understand what he needs to focus on, as opposed to having to ring someone up, having to walk around before focusing on what needs to be done. Number two that can make a big impact is improving the visibility of your products as they go through the factory. A lot of companies, as the order, they take the order, they process it, it starts to go into the factory, and then it just kind of enters a big black hole where it's somewhere in the factory, and it then reappears at some point in the future ready for dispatch. In these days, companies like Amazon, when you order something, you're getting emails kind of as it's out for dispatch, down to the hour or the minute sometimes when it's going to arrive at your house. If you can edge towards offering that level of service to your customers, it's going to give you a really unfair advantage and put you in a much better process. So, a simple way of doing this is just to, with the works order, just track at what stage it's at as it goes through the process, so you'll have identified, a key kind of value stream that a product goes through in your factory, just understanding where it is within that value stream. Some people just use an Excel spreadsheet to do this, and they get the operator up to update it. Maybe you could do this for you through your ERP system. If you're using Sage, SAP, Navision, something like that, you can potentially be updating that with what stage it's at. Other people I've seen, they use something like Trello, so just kind of a simple card dashboard that shows the visual flow of stuff going through the factory. or you could use some kind of more automated shop floor data capture software to update that automatically, so there's less overhead and it's more reliable. But just having that, and then maybe integrating that with some kind of alerts to your customer. If you can preemptively email them and say, your product now is at this stage, so it's 2 days away from dispatch, I think that's a brilliant level of service, and that's really going to set you apart from some of your competitors. Number 3 is having more visibility into the people in your manufacturing process. So by you've got all sorts of people at all different levels of expertise, working in processes that you expect to work to kind of standard time, standard efficiencies. If you can get some kind of visibility into how effectively they're performing, and whether they need extra training, whether there's issues, you've seen this many times, that there's just issues with tooling or the fixturing that certain people are struggling with, but they don't particularly flag it up, often, unless you specifically ask them. They just get on with it. So some way of tracking how effective they are is just going to help you identify and address those issues, improve your productivity, and just get better. So, for example, our shop floor data capture system, Taskus, that has a method in a few different ways of signifying either through an and-on light on the station, that using the basis of the green, amber, red system that we talked about earlier, as to whether that person in that line's running at full capacity or not. There's some other features in there as well that help that let them send out kind of notification messages to their managers or supervisors. So say, for example, there's some kind of a delay in the line stop, they can send that request out straight away so they can get assistance coming to them, rather than having to go around searching the shop floor, for their supervisor, who's maybe on the tea break. I've seen that happen lots of times. Through to a feature we're developing next, which is going to be we understand the standard times for a process, and all of the delivery schedules are going to be based on meeting that standard time. If for some reason someone's lagging behind that standard time, that is probably an opportunity for the supervisor or the team lead to jump over there and kind of understand what's going on and resolve some of those issues before it goes too late. So Taskus is going to be sending out notifications when actual times are starting to lag behind standard times. Send that out to a supervisor so they can jump in there and resolve that problem straight away. Number 4 is the process. So we've looked at the individual elements of the manufacturing process up to now. The next one to get visibility into is the process as a whole. So you might have a really efficient machine running at high OEE. You might have optimized your labour activity. The next thing to look at really is the downtime in between operations. So as it moves through the factory, how long is it waiting to move to the next process? We've had some customers who've managed to cut their lead time in half just by analysing what issues were causing it to sit idle between several manufacturing processes. So they did that by tracking works order start and end time at each stage, and then understanding, classifying what the reasons were for it being held up before starting the next process. They put that into a Pareto chart, just using Excel, and then just focused on top highest number of issues to bottom, just started ticking them off. At the end of that project, they managed to cut their lead time in half from 8 weeks to 4 weeks. And again, in terms of your customer, that's a massive competitive advantage if you can deliver it in half the time that your competitor can. So those are the 4 areas that you can increase the visibility of a production process. The asset, just put some simple traffic light system to see how well they're running. Number 2 is the products, just get some update and visibility as to where they actually are in your process and tell your customer about it. Number 3 is the people, understand who needs assistance, extra training, looking at issues in the work area. And number 4 is a process, look for idle downtimes, understand the reason and cut it down to improve your lead time. So if you like this video, click like and hit the subscribe button below, and then let me know in the comments which of these areas you think is going to be most impactful for your business, or if you're doing something else, let me know what that is. I'd be really interested to hear about that. Thanks a lot for listening, and see you next time.